Well, hello there, friends. Today, we are going to be taking a look at this guy. This is the Fanttik K200 flip. It's supposed to be a cordless portable washer. Now, I am part of a local group on Facebook that talks about Costco products, and I have seen that this one is currently having a bad reputation. It doesn't have a lot of good reviews. For $40, I figured I would pick it up and put it through its paces to see if it's actually worth the 40 bucks. I actually have a dedicated pressure washer, so I'm gonna go ahead and measure it in multiple ways. For example, if it's easier to whip this thing out than having to wheel out a pressure washer, then to some people it might be worth it. Now, this thing is advertised as a portable washer, but it seems to be also advertised to campers. You seem to be able to submerge this thing into a bucket of water and use it for, say, spraying down a bike or even taking a shower if you're in a campground with no hookup. Anyway, let's go ahead and unbox this thing and see what it has. And the box opens up just like that. All right, so we definitely have the instruction manual, which we're definitely gonna read. It looks like this is the unit itself. Well, that's very interesting. So you seem to be able to do that. And I guess, oh, okay. Of course, I'm just running it dry here. Let's see it. So it seems like you have to pull this down and then you can fold it that way. I guess that's a pretty nifty feature. Then you have this, which I assume is the carrying case, and it seems to be pretty massive. Look at this thing. It only has two things in there. And it looks like the rest of this is a couple of hookups. We have this guy here, which seems to be a quick fitting for a garden hose connection. All right, we're gonna test that. And then you have this guy here, which I'm not really sure what it's for. So let me go ahead and read the instructions, and then I'll lay out this in a very nice, orderly fashion. Of course, this is the hose, and I gotta say the hose, feels pretty cheap. Anyway, let me go ahead and read the instructions, and then we'll take a look at the items. By the way, there's nothing in there. See, that's it. That's all you get. Alrighty, folks, so I've laid out the items in a way that shows them very nicely. And after reading the instructions, here's how these items are described. This guy right here is the soap dispenser. So you mix it with detergent and water, and then it will be able to dispense soap. We're gonna test that out a little bit later with my car. This one right here is the bucket weight. And you're supposed to use this and attach it to the hose so that way it can submerge in water. So this is actually quite heavy, and I do imagine that being heavy enough to go all the way to the bottom of the bucket. Now, I assume that this down here is a filter, but again, that's just an assumption. Again, we're gonna test this out a little bit later. This right here is the water switch, so you can use it to turn on and off the water. Of course, this guy here is the main unit, and you can see the USB-C connection down here. Now, the manual says that if you want to collapse it, all you have to do is pull it like so and then push this down, and it collapses into a nice little portable unit. This is the hose, and like I said, the hose feels a little bit cheap, but there's no sugarcoating that. Everything here is plastic. I don't see any metal, so I would just be wary of leaving this outside. It could be prone to UV degradation, but what you will do is you will take one of these, depending on your application, and attach it to that guy there. This is the USB-C connection. No charging brick. This is all you get. This right here is the 5-in-1 nozzle. I'm kind of curious to see how you change it, but we'll go ahead and figure that out. And finally, of course, which is all the way over here, you get the pouch. So let's go ahead and see how these things connect together, and then we'll go out and test some of it on this very rainy day. All right, so after reading the manual, it seems like this guy, the 5-in-1 attachment, simply connects into this end of the unit. And it doesn't look like it really requires much. You just press it in there, so push it in. So I'll demonstrate that to you. All you have to do is just push it in like so, twist it enough until it goes in. Let's see, we gotta find that sweet spot there. There we go. And then you twist it to lock it, and that's locked in place. Now to remove it, you simply push it in again, twist it, and then push out. I guess that's pretty simple. There is an O-ring there, which you can probably see. That's to prevent leakage. Now to attach the hose, and by the way, the hose has this Velcro fitting on it, or hook and loop, because you can't say Velcro anymore, that's a trademark. Now for the hose, it doesn't really matter which end you connect it to. It has this exact same entrance there. Again, all plastic, and it seems like what you have to do is connect this to the hose like that. So it just locks in place. Again, all plastic other than this metal part on the switch itself. And then you connect this other end over to this guy like so, similar to the 5-in-1 attachment. So you kind of lock it in there and place it. That's locked in there. That's not coming out. And this other end over here, this guy, you either connect with a water hose connection. So as you can see, it says remove the filter if you want to connect it to a water hose. And we're going to test that as well. Or you can use this fitting here for the bucket. For now, I'm going to leave it in there because I actually do have a bucket of water I'm going to test this with. But once you put it in there like so, essentially this unit is ready to rock and roll. Now, before I go out and charge it, I do want to alert you to this little portion of the device here. It has a little button here and you can press it. It tells you the battery life, eco, regular, and max. So I assume that that one right there is eco, this is regular, and that is max. That's kind of a weird way to put it. Now I have to say, from a weight perspective, it isn't heavy, but I can see it being a little bit uncomfortable. You have to remember that this thing is probably going to be weighing it down. Again, I haven't used it yet, but you know, for someone who is not used to handling tools, I can see this being a little bit awkward and a little bit uncomfortable. It isn't heavy though, so that's a good thing. So this should be able to be used by most individuals. Now, according to the manual, this thing will have a maximum battery life of 30 minutes. Again, I'm assuming that that is on optimal conditions, so probably on regular. If you set it to max, I assume that it'll probably be less. And if you completely deplete this thing, it's going to take 2 hours to charge the unit. All right, well, again, that's a pretty big sell here. Anyway, let's go ahead and actually charge it though. It looks like it actually does have a full battery life, but I'm gonna top it off and then we'll go ahead and take a look at how this unit works in a real world application using also this soap dispenser, which I'm gonna show you how to hook up when we get over there. All right, so as you guys can see, I have this attachment connected to the unit. Let's go ahead and dump it in this bucket of water that is definitely not filtered. See how much comes out of this unit. Right now I have it set to the maximum output. I'm gonna try to water some of those plants over there. Let's see how it performs. All right, so as you can probably see, I have to give this hose a little bit of a push there. The thing is not heavy enough to go all the way down on itself. I can see that being a little bit of a problem. I can also see the entanglement of this hose being a problem. Nonetheless though, let's go ahead and try it out. Now remember, you have to turn on the water switch. So when it's facing this way, that means that the water is flowing. When it's closed, like so, 90 degrees, that means that there's no water flowing. All right, let's test it out. Uh-oh, nothing's happening. What am I missing? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, there it goes. That's pretty nice.
So the setting that you're looking at right now is the 0 setting on the nozzle. Seems to be a very simple direct shot. This one right here is foam. I'm not really sure what you would use this one for. I think it's just to simulate a foam pattern using water. This one here is 40 degrees. You can see that the pattern is a little bit more fanned out. This one here is 20 degrees and you can see it shoots a little bit lower while the other 20-degree one shoots a little bit higher. And by higher, I mean a little bit more straight.
Let's see if it can take off some grime over there on that RV. All right, so right now I'm pretty close to the RV. Let's see if I can take off just this little bit of grime that I have right here. Not bad, but let's actually put it up to the test with a real pressure washer. All right, now we're gonna whip out the big boy. Okay, let's see. Uh-oh. You can see that this is a little bit of a setup. With the unit over there that I got from Costco, it's pretty easy. You just hook it up. There are no cables attached to this. You don't have to hook up a water line if you have a bucket lying around. But with this, you have to find a power source. You have to hook up the hose. Is it worth it? I don't know. That's for you to decide. All right, let's get this guy here. Okay, yeah, I think this is hooked up now. You guys need to understand, I'm a real world homeowner, right? I don't have everything organized nicely. I use my tools when I need them. And so this was put away and I have to use it. You could see the trouble that that product is trying to solve. Now, for some people, this is easy because they probably already have it out and organized, but I don't have a lot of space here. Anyway, let's go ahead and power it up. Oh, wait, I forgot to turn on the water. Okay, a couple of things to note here. Number one, this is obviously gonna do better. Why? This thing can output 2,000 PSI. That little thing over there says it can output 100 to 150 PSI. You do the math. Anyway, let's go ahead and blast that same area and see if we can get some additional grime off of that. This is 2,000 PSI coming in. That's 2,000 PSI, see? Now let's take a look side by side to see how the spray patterns differ. Now, keep in mind that the other unit can do 5 in 1. This one you have to constantly replace the nozzles, but unlike the Fantikk units with a dedicated pressure washer, you can of course rely on the fact that most of it is metal. Anyway, let me show you a side-by-side comparison. This nozzle is 15 degrees. Let me go grab the Fantikk unit. This is the Ryobi pressure washer. This is the Fantikk. If you are expecting this to perform like this, it's not gonna do it, okay? You're setting your expectations too high. This is more expensive than this, all right? This requires more setup, it requires a dedicated outlet, whereas this doesn't need all that, okay? Anyway, now that we've tested the bucket test, which I think performs as advertised, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the additional options that we have, more particularly the garden hose test. I'm gonna disconnect it from the pressure washer and we're gonna hook it up to the Fantikk unit. All right, so again, you're gonna have to excuse my very murky water. This is actual water that is obtained from the gutters. But according to the manual, you have to take this filter off and then you can hook up the water hose right here. So let me go ahead and disconnect it from the pressure washer. All right, so let's try this out on this window here. You can see that there are some specks of dirt. I highly doubt that this thing is actually going to take it off, but let's see what it does. It might surprise me. So again, I have it connected to the garden hose right now, so I have to turn on the power. And I'm gonna give it some additional boost. Oh, that's what I mean. You see, it's still going. You have to turn it off. It didn't do too bad, but I could have done this with a pressure washer. So far, I don't know how I feel about this thing. But anyway, let's go ahead and hook up the soap attachment and see how it works on a car. All right, so here's the bucket attachment, and it's honestly pretty straightforward. Now, I have a dedicated attachment for my pressure washer, which for some reason I can't find here, but it's very similar to this style. But the idea is you have to fill this up with detergent and then fill up with water, and then you spray it on your car. So let's see how it works. All right, so I have the ratio according to the manual on the soap there. Let's go ahead and try it out. All right, so again, I have the unit attached to the hose. So to use this attachment, you have to take out the nozzle, which when you have wet hands can be a challenge, but you just push it, twist it, and pull it out. And then you're gonna take this guy and insert it the same way, like so, if I can get it in there. There we go. And so that is the whole idea behind this. Let's go ahead and test it on my vehicle. Now here's something very interesting about this. You guys just saw me spray that whole thing with water and soap. That tiny little segment actually consumed all of the soap and water in here. So you're gonna have to refill this a couple of times if you have a big truck. Now, that's just a Tesla Model 3. I would probably have to refill that maybe 4 more times to get the whole area covered in soap. If you have a truck like a Ram, good luck. I don't think it's gonna work. You're gonna be sitting there spraying this all over the place multiple times and you have to refill this. So unlike the Fantikk unit, this is actually really easy. You just push this down, take off the nozzle, and then insert your spray foam attachment. Let's go ahead and try it out. Now, by the way, I noticed that on that unit over there, unless I missed it, there was no way to control how much soap is in there, and that makes sense because it looks like you're supposed to dilute it there. You are supposed to dilute it in here, but this does give you the option to control how much soap or solution flows out. 1, 2, 3. Oh, come on, that's not even a comparison. All right, here comes the washing off here. I mean, come on, that doesn't even compare. But like I said, if you're expecting the Fantikk unit to be just like the pressure washer, you're fooling yourself. It's not gonna do that. All right, let's go and wrap up this video. All right, folks, let me go ahead and wrap up this video and give you my final thoughts on this unit, the Fanttik K200 Flip Pressure Washer. Now, first, let's be realistic, okay? So I always say it's good to be optimistic, but we have to be realistic. This is not going to replace a pressure washer by any stretch of the imagination. To give you an idea, the Ryobi pressure washer I had out there, that was 2,000 PSI. This, according to the manual, can put between 100 and 150 PSI. That is almost 20 times the pressure that the electric one can output compared to this one. Now, you saw with the actual dedicated electric pressure washer that you have to haul it out, you have to do all of this stuff to hook it up. And again, I'm a real world homeowner. I don't fake anything. I don't have a set. I don't have any of that. I store my tools away, and when I need them, I bring them out. And you saw me struggle with that. This unit obviously doesn't have that. The main thing you will have to struggle with is just the hose, and that's it. After that, it's a matter of where do you want to aim it and where do you want to shoot the water. Now, with that being said, there are some things that I think need to be addressed about this unit. And number one, I think, is the term pressure washer. When I think of a pressure washer, I think of using, very high powerful sprays to clean a car or to scrape things off from concrete. This, since it's called a pressure washer, is kind of what I associate it with. But I think they did a bad job labeling this as a pressure washer. This cannot do what a traditional pressure washer does. But I think it does have a market. For example, if you're someone who has a greenhouse or you need water somewhere that doesn't have a spigot nearby, using this to spray down your plants or whatever, I think is actually a viable solution. Another thing that I have noticed I would use this for is camping. You can also use this to wash things off of your RV when there are no hookups nearby. I would say that this is mainly marketed for people who need water that don't have a spigot nearby or that just go boondocking, campers. If you do not fall into one of those categories, this is not for you. I would spend the additional money on a pressure washer. It's gonna cost maybe $100 to $150. I don't remember how much I spent on that one out there. I think it was like about $200. But I've seen on Home Depot there are some cheap Ryobi ones, electric ones that go for about $100 to $150. I would just spend the money on that because it would be more versatile for that application, pressure washing. This, I don't think, is really meant for that. Now, I probably will use this occasionally when I go camping. Of course, I will give you guys my thoughts at the end of the year, how much I've used it, if I kept it. But until then, I'm just gonna keep it stored until I see a use case for it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions or concerns regarding this thing, definitely leave them down below. And as always, take care. Bye-bye.